Welcome to the channel, King Lizard. First off, I'd like to offer my apologies for there not being much of any content in the past few months. I've been very unwell, and I still am, unfortunately, with a new issue on top of my severe sleep issues. I've got something they think is femoral neuralgia, which is basically damaged nerves in my legs, which is very painful and uncomfortable 24/7. Obviously, being someone with severe sleep disorder and getting 14 minutes of sleep a day, if I'm lucky, these leg pains impact that further and just make me really tired all of the time, or tireder than I normally am, which is crazy because I was tired enough before. As a result, I've not been doing much on the channel, and that's why. Today, I don't know if I say a good day. I've had a slightly better day today. I feel a little bit fresher today, which is why I'm doing this video. And what I'm going to do moving forward is get at least 1 or 2 videos up a week on the channel. Vlog is probably one of the easiest things for me to do. Share what I'm doing during the week and some gaming news that I've hit, my thoughts on things, that kind of stuff. I will, however, obviously carry on with gameplays that I've started, and then also, jump in with the odd game review. I got another free code from HeroCraft, so I've got one of their games I'll be doing a review for in the not too distant future as well. Me as a gamer, I haven't really said anything on the channel before. Maybe during gameplays I've mentioned a few things, but I thought I'd start out, fresh, just to say, me as a gamer, how I started. Back in 1978, yeah, really long time ago, when dinosaurs ruled the earth, I saw my very first game system, which was the original Space Invaders arcade machine at my local ABC cinema. And I was kind of looking up at this monolith and all the action going on, and it's like, yeah, I want to be a part of that. So I had some coins. I never got much money as a kid, pocket money, but whatever I did get went into arcade machines, or Star Wars figures, which I had a huge collection of, all of them apart from that one from Canada. Long story that, but gaming wise, up until I was 18, my gaming was pretty much scrounging off friends whenever I had a chance to play on their systems. I always loved gaming. Mum and Dad just didn't have the money to afford to buy me a console, and as a result, I kind of played my friends' systems, if you like. So I had friends with Master System and Spectrum 128, as well as C64. So they were the systems I initially started playing on. Absolutely loved Barbarian on Spectrum 128K. Chopping that head off and then the goblin coming along, dragging it off. Awesome little game. And it was actually one of the first games I sought out when I hit 18. I was doing a YT scheme for a computer company and being paid absolutely crap. So I couldn't afford anything for the first year other than my rent and stuff. And as a result, when I got my first real pay packet and I got taken on by a company that I was actually in the youth schemes for, my first major pay packet, I went out and bought an Amiga 500 on HP, because these things back in the day were 500 odd pounds. They're seriously expensive. And I also bought an IBM XT80, which someone I'd started working with had a spare one lying around. They needed the cash, and I offered them some money for it, and I got it. So my journey began very much with PC gaming, games like King's Quest, Space Quest, the original test drives from Sierra, the 2D type test drives, flat test drives, which I still liked back in the day. And also, obviously, Amiga 500, which is where my real love, for gaming kind of engulfed me, if you like. Playing classics like Speedball 2 from Bit Brothers, Chaos Engine, Xenon 2 Mega Blast. Absolutely loved that game. Every time I'd get to level 5.2 and get my ass kicked, pretty much instantly. I never got to complete that game, but that was the very last level of the game, I believe, or the very last half of the game. Classics like Alien Breed 2, from Team 17, they were games I spent a lot of time with and completed back in the day. Loved Batman the movie. In fact, I loved most things from Ocean, Sadly, a company we don't see anymore, and Midnight Resistance and stuff like that. So that's kind of where my personal gaming journey began, because I owned my own gear at that point. I went on to buy Mega Drive. I also went on to buy Super NES, which actually became my favourite console. And because of that, it's actually my favourite retro console ever. Now, Super NES started for me with Street Fighter 2. Obviously, I'd played it in the arcades, loved it to death. Couldn't wait to get my hands on it in real life. Excellent game. Loved Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Turtles in Time, still one of my favourite beat 'em ups ever. Sadly, don't have a physical anymore, but I do have a Xbox 360 live version that I play from time to time. All of my collections through the years, sadly, I moved on. The UK culture was, new console came out, new hardware, you replaced it with the old one. The old one became part of the the fee, if you like, to take on the new technology, and you got rid of all your games and everything else, and you got bugger all for it, pretty much. My collections went for nothing. In fact, my Amiga 500 collection, I had over 200 plus physical games that I just gave away to people, and they're things now that are obviously very collectible that I wish I'd kept. But pretty much every console that I've invested in over the years, I've got to 200 or more games in that particular format. So Amiga 500 was over 200. Super NES was 270 carts, I think, or maybe just a little bit over. Mega Drive was 250 carts. I then went on to PC a lot, actually. I had a lot of PC games I didn't have that many physical PC games, I'll be honest. Probably around about 50 or 60, which I got rid of about 8-9 years ago now. I just threw them out. And again, very collectible now. I just wish I hadn't done that. But my collector's head for games didn't actually kick in until around about 5-6 years ago. That's when I was playing coming to the end of the Xbox 360 era, jumped straight into Xbox One in 2014. So actually, yeah, it's longer than 6 years ago, thinking about it, because it was during the course of the Xbox 360 that I decided I'm not doing this trading anymore. I buy a ton of games, I buy the console, all the hardware, lots of peripherals, and then when a new one comes out, I trade it in and I get nothing. I mean, literally nothing. You get pence for the games you trade back. And, I look back in disgust at, what I did with my collections. I had a huge Amiga 500, SNES, Mega Drive. My brain's going dead here. PS1 obviously was a big one. I had over 270 games for that. I never got hold of GameCube. My first GameCube was back in the end of 2019. So I've only just invested in GameCube, but I love that system. The PlayStation 2 obviously was next on the cards. Again, over 270 games for that console. About half of the games as well in all these collections were sealed when I got rid of them. And you still got pence, from places like GameStation and Game when you traded your collections in. I'm not kidding, I went down with my entire PS2 collection and console, traded them in that day, and 270 plus games, 125 of which approximate were still sealed. The Platinum console, as well as the generic Fat Boy Black. You know how much I got? Just over £100. So it didn't even pay, it paid for basically 2 and a bit games for my Xbox 360 that I'd just bought, which is pretty depressing when you think back at it. So basically, PlayStation 3 I did invest in, but I kind of treated it like a Blu-ray player. To cut a long story short, I bought my PlayStation 3. It was the first generation. I was already playing Xbox 360 because I got fed up waiting for PlayStation 3. But being a gamer, I support all formats. I'm not negative towards any format. And I wanted to invest in PlayStation 3, one, because it's a Blu-ray player. more specifically than anything else. Plus, I was going to play some games. And Xbox 360 had basically taken my allegiance by then. I basically was in love with the 360, Gears of War. I didn't mind Halo. It's not the main draw for me. Forza Motorsport was a main draw for me, along with Gears of War. Plus, all the stuff, or most of the stuff you can experience on PlayStation 3 was on Xbox 360, with the exception of exclusives like God of War and stuff. And I bought my PlayStation 3, barely used it. It was backward compatible, okay, the one I bought, with PS2. And approximate 6 months in, it failed. I sent it back to Sony, which was the deal at the time, which I hated. And they returned it, and I had no compatibility chip in my PlayStation 3 anymore. They basically stripped the compatibility from the PS3 because no one was buying PS3 games. They were all buying PS2 games and using their original collection, because most of the PS3 games on launch actually sucked. Haze was a big example of that. I had people give me Haze so many times over the years because they hate it. And I haven't kept it in the collection either because I hate it too. But the PS3 was a short-lived for me at that time. I've since bought one back about 2 and a bit years ago, and I've actually built quite a respectable collection at the moment. I think I'm on about 150-ish approx. I'm currently cataloguing, so I don't know for sure. But my main kind of gaming journey, and the most gaming I ever did, was during the Xbox 360 era. So I've got a lot of knowledge specifically about that particular era in gaming, because that was my main draw. Obviously Xbox One, PlayStation 4, I'm into those as well. I do have Xbox Series X, which you'll have seen if you follow me on IG, as well as on here. I think I did a installation video as well. PlayStation 5 I will invest in time, but money's tight right now. And I've got my X series, which unfortunately I got because I had to give back my Xbox One X Gears of War 5 edition because it was just failing all the time. I had 4 failures in 9 months, and obviously with the lockdown and pandemic, it was bloody difficult to get it replaced every time it failed. And as a result, 9 months in, I just contacted the supplier and said, enough's enough. I'm not keeping this thing. I don't want a 5 kilogram paperweight when the warranty runs out. So as a result, I got my money back for my Xbox One X, and I used that to buy my X series, and that's the only reason I've got an X series. If the One X had worked, I'd still be using that right now. But so currently I'm on X series. That's my main. I do play PlayStation 4. I've got a PlayStation 4 Pro, and I've got quite a smallish collection, I suppose, for PlayStation 4 physical, but games in total over 200. For PS4, but I don't play on there enough to justify investing in a huge collection. I've actually started playing and replaying. I played the original Uncharted, which I'd never completed originally because I kind of fell out with the Sony thing with the PS3 failure, and really enjoyed that. It's a little clunky, but it's good fun. I also very recently finished Uncharted 2, because I'm actually going to be playing the whole Uncharted series. I may even do a video based on my experiences, who knows. And, I'm starting to try and chip away at games that, I should have played by now, really, or games that I've started and I never finished. So, as things stand right now, one of the only benefits I'm getting from all the pain I'm in is I stay awake a little bit longer to play games. So, what have I been up to? I'm sorry, this is going to be quite a long video, I think, because I'm drawing on here. But, I wanted to give you a real reason for, why I've not been around, but also kind of explain a little bit about myself, what my channel's about, what I do. Last week, I got a message from a friend on Instagram, and I actually made it into this book, Gamertag Stories by Tommy Keogh, Level 1. And in here you'll find my PlayStation 5 gamertag. So I've got my 15 seconds of fame. I'll take them. So that's me right there. I don't know if I can show you this. Oh, camera confuses me. So that's me and my gamer tag story. So, but yeah, it's an interesting book. This basically is all about gamer tags, why people chose them. You know, some of them people chose them for history's sake, like me. You know, something that reminded them of something or better times. Other people chose them blatantly because they couldn't think of anything else. You've got other people that, you know, have very good reasons for choosing them. They're big fans of a particular movie or a game, or so. Yeah, it makes for an interesting read. You know, it's $15.99 on Amazon right now. I actually bought my copy straight away once I found I was in it, because I wanted to, you know, one, experience it, but two, I'm on IG all the time, Instagram, and a lot of my Instagram friends are in here, so I was actually really keen to read this and learn more about the people I interact with all the time. So I've been actually trying to get to play games that I started a long time ago, or games that I bought that I've just never gotten to. So that's one of the benefits, or disbenefits, I guess, of having severe pain 24/7. Is I'm actually awake, you know, wide awake between about 12 and 4 a.m. in the morning. You know, my sleep pattern is gone, but I am getting to complete some games purely because I can't sleep. And there's no point sitting in a chair for 4 hours in agony, not being able to sleep. I'd rather be doing something and then sleep when I'm tired enough, or when the pain is level enough for me to go to sleep. So, colleague of mine on Instagram, Malakas Game Nerd, is doing a hashtag movie tines theme. So I joined in with Iron Man because it's a game that I bought on 360. I only paid like £8 for this, brand new. I only just unsealed it to play it recently, and it's actually not a bad game. This, you know, it's pretty good. Kind of, I suppose you could call it a pre-generation Anthem more than anything else. You know, it's flying armor suit. You shoot things out the sky. I found the first level a bit tough, a bit clunky, quite hard to get used to. Once I settled in, and once you level your armor up, it actually gets a lot more fun, and it's pretty much just all out blasting action. Plus, you've got some, you know, CG from, you know, kind of the movie in some regards. It loosely follows the movie. Obviously, they've added a lot more action to it, so there's a lot more like missions where you go out and blow up bases and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of destruction in this. It's actually not a bad game. A little clunky at times to control, but actually quite good. I'd probably give it a 7 out of 10 maybe. But yeah, I'm quite enjoying that, so I'm chipping away at that. There's also a challenge mode where you have to do so many things in 10 minutes to get, you know, better achievements and all that kind of stuff. No, not particularly easy for achievements. One you're going to have to work for. Another game that I'd wanted for a long time, and my nephew bought it for me for Christmas, thank you very much, is Tachyon Project. Now, it is actually available on Xbox One, this game. It's a top-down shooter, so very similar in the vein of Geometry Wars. If you've played Geometry Wars before, if you can think of it as a more modern take on Smash TV, you know, those kinds of games. Or even more recently, Xeno Crisis, which I really like. I played that recently, which is like an old school shooter made recently, but they did even Mega Drive kart versions as well, which I thought was really cool. But yeah, this is not a bad game. I'm actually doing okay. I'm into the 4th level. I stopped because I changed game basically, not because I was getting my ass kicked. But some people said to me it gets really tough later on. It probably does. But I'm really enjoying Tachyon Project. I can't bring myself to open this sealed version. I'm going to keep it sealed. I actually bought the digital version on Xbox One so I could enjoy it. The other game I've dug out that I haven't played yet, I'm going to be playing, or at least digging into a bit, is Viking Battle for Asgard. Now, this is one that I got with my second Xbox 360 Elite. I don't know about you guys, but I had horrendous reliability issues with Xbox 360. I got my money back from my original Xbox 360 Pro Gears of War edition, because between the December I bought it and the July of that year, I'd had 7 failures. 7. All different types of one. I had read errors, quite a few read errors. I had the red ring. I had a really weird network issue where I'd get a read error from the disc whilst playing Dirt online, and it was the only way to reproduce it. If I played Dirt without the network, it was fine. The minute I went online to play, I got this read error. I changed the disc and everything, still the same issue. It was a weird, funky issue with the network chip on the 360, I think. But that was kind of the last straw, and I had to prove that to Game, which the people I bought it from, which was really fun. And I bought an Elite. 8 months later, that Elite failed. Landed up getting a replacement, and it happened on a Friday night. Blockbuster was open, obviously not around anymore, sadly, and the other company I bought it from wasn't. So I went there, and this was part of the bundle deal they had. So I landed up with 2 Xbox 360 Elites because I couldn't wait for the replacement on the Monday. So I ended up with 2 consoles. Long story, but I've never played this. Never. So I need to play this one. I've opened it, ready to go. So I'll let you guys know what I think of that. If you've played it, drop me some comments. Let me know what you thought. The other game I shared on IG quite recently, which I think is a hidden gem, is 50 Cent Blood in the Sand. Now, I'm not a rap fan, really. I'm not a fan. I do like some rap and stuff, but a lot of the modern rap, not my thing. This, as a game, is pretty much Gears of War meets The Club. It's all-out action. The aim of the game, kill everything as quickly as possible, cause as much destruction as possible, and hit these targets around the map to get extra score, and keep your combo ranked up, to the max. And it's actually a really good fun game, this Blood in the Sand. If you haven't played it, it's definitely worth a go, and it is very much got a Gears of War type format. There's a driving section where you're taking out vehicles and stuff. Story isn't particularly intense or great or anything, but as action games go, 50 Cent Blood in the Sand, I'd really recommend it. I'm not sure how much it goes for. I think you can still get it quite cheap. So another one I shared on Instagram. Something else I've been dabbling with again. I never really spent any real time with it on the 360. Driver San Francisco. Really great game, this. Handling's a little tricky at times. Once you start to get used to it, it's actually a really good game. I've been playing a bit online with a friend, hitting some of those achievements like you do. And I played a little bit of the campaign. I need to get more into the campaign, but this is one I'm delving back into now. I'm quite enjoying. And another game I shared on IG over the last week, Spec Ops: The Line. This is actually a really good third-person shooter as well. And it was a game that I don't think sold particularly well. And a lot of people, when I talk about it, don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I actually waited, as you can see, by the £20 sticker, I waited for it to go into sales because I wanted it, but I couldn't afford everything. So I basically waited for drop in price so I could buy it. And there's actually 5 missions that are co-op in here, in Spec Ops: The Line, and a really good campaign. It's based in Dubai, basically a war-torn Dubai. You're sent in as an American unit to take out, the insurgents and stuff. And you have to make a lot of decisions. It's the first shooter of this nature that I've seen, and it's based on a novel. And it's pretty stark. You make decisions that you never think of the consequences for until it's too late. And you do things, and afterwards you think, shit, what did I just do? I killed all these people. When I was trying to save them. And so it's really great from a shooting perspective in terms of its mechanic and how it works. There's a lot of action to be had. It's actually a really nice looking game still, this. And from co-op perspective, there's a good little chunk of co-op. I actually wish they'd done the whole game in co-op. That would have been pretty cool to do the whole game in co-op. But you've got 5 specific missions. I think they might have even been DLC that you downloaded. I can't remember now. It's been a while. Either that or you got extra ones you could download. But Spec Ops: The Line, really recommend that. For me, that's about an 8 out of 10, that game, at least. You know, it's a good game. Driver, by the way, San Francisco, probably give that 7.5 out of 10. Worth a look. And Tachyon Project, probably a 7-8 out of 10. Quite good fun. So that's pretty much what I'm up to at the moment, game-wise. I'm posting regularly, or as regularly as I can on IG. Not all the time because of illness, but I'm posting more frequently than I have done over the last few months at the moment, and plan to continue to do so. For the channel moving forward, I will continue with my gameplays and stuff like that. What I will do though is these vlogs where I share, you know, games that I'm playing or news that I've heard at this moment in time. This week, most importantly, it was the 25th anniversary of Resident Evil, and I did my post on IG for Resident Evil with most of my entire collection. Not everything, I couldn't find a couple of bits sadly, but you know, I celebrated its 25th birthday with this post, and absolutely love the series. You know, it's a great series, and you know, may we have 25 years more. So that was on 22nd of March. If you missed it, and originally released in 1996, the first Resident Evil on PlayStation 1. Absolutely loved it. I still need to play the GameCube version, so that's one I've got on the list. So I hope you've kind of enjoyed, you know, watching me rabble on. I will be back for more of this weekly. I'm going to do these, and I'm just going to be talking about, you know, what I'm playing at the moment, what I've been up to, my experiences, any news I might have heard, my thoughts on that kind of stuff. I will, however, like I said, continue to post the gameplay vids and stuff, and try to be live and active on those as I do them as well. I'm going to be working on a game room at some point this year, and hopefully get some much better lighting for these videos and stuff. And you know, the quality of this kind of content will improve over time, obviously once I get a game room set up. But you know, money's a bit tight right now, so it might take a little bit longer than I planned. Anyway, if you got this far, thanks for watching. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for following, supporting the channel. I will start hitting the channel weekly now with at least one of these videos and a bit of gameplay and stuff. So take care, keep well, and most importantly, come back soon. Thanks for watching.